Microsoft always manages to pull a loss out of a victory, no matter kind of what's going on, and that's pretty much what this video is about. This article came up, and I was like, this is such a Microsoft thing, to be honest with you. And when we look at things and how Xbox are doing, like, I'll be the first to admit, I think Xbox is a great platform in terms of a console. And you know what? The problem is really Microsoft. They undersell it, they under talk about it, they under promote it, and that's a real issue. So if Microsoft doesn't really care about, their console, why should developers, right? Like, that's the main kind of takeaway that I would get from that. If I'm a developer, I'm going to develop for Xbox last if there's time. And you know what? It's very interesting to see how people react to this. So this should be a fun video. Let's get into it. I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews, back with yet another video. I do daily gaming content, so go ahead and smash that like button and maybe even consider subscribing if you haven't already. We've seen some improvements and things in the channel lately. Hopefully you guys have noticed that. I'm very appreciative of the ones that watch and the positive feedback, even the negative feedback. It helps me change and do better, and I'm thankful for that. But this is a real problem for Xbox, right? So not only is Xbox in a situation where people are confused about the messaging and people are confused about the entire point of an Xbox, and there's a ton of articles about that right now. Maybe I'll do that, something like that. So again, it's going to be very fun to see how people react. So, like, at what point can Microsoft do something to change sort of what's going on? I'm not sure that they can, but like I said, it's going to be a very interesting thing to see what's going to happen in the future. So anyway, this I felt was a very, very interesting topic. So apparently, if you guys are living under a rock, you would maybe not know that Black Myth Wukong is a huge smash success, selling over 10 million units, breaking records, all this kind of stuff. Guess what? It's not on Xbox. Guess what? It's selling out PlayStation 5 consoles. Guess what? Microsoft missed the boat. But apparently we have an idea of what has caused Xbox Series X and S delay. The game has not passed Xbox's bug detection tests. So Black Myth Wukong has been a bit of a phenomenon since its release earlier in the month. In fact, it's been a massive story since its very first reveal. First of all, I also want to say, even though this isn't my type of game, some of the backlash for this game is due to it not, quote-unquote, appealing to modern audiences. Take that however you want, but the fact that this game is telling its story and doing what it wants and not worrying about, annoying certain small interest groups and checklisting agendas, that's why it's gotten some average scores. And if you look at it, some of the scores on it are, well, lacks diversity and inclusion. Like, dude, this is their game. Let the developers tell the story they want without forcing a bunch of crap into it, right? And so if you look at some of the negative scores that this game has gotten, it's because of that reason, not because of the game itself. So the Xbox version has been delayed indefinitely, and a new rumor aimed to shed some light on exactly why we haven't seen the game on Xbox Series X and S yet. Once again, gaming news leaker Xtus1 has taken to Twitter to give a bit of an explanation on the topic, and according to him, multiple sources at Gamescom 2024 have said that Black Myth Wukong has failed certification on Xbox due to a memory leak issue in the Xbox Series X and S versions of the title. This technical issue means that Black Myth Wukong hasn't passed Xbox's bug detection yet. Hence the reason developer Game Science is yet to put a proper release date on the Series X and S version of the title. The team is apparently working hard to actually solve the issues and will date the game once it's fixed, with Black Myth Wukong reportedly close to being ready on the Xbox aside from this glitch. Now, this is a problem because there always seems to be some type of memory leak on Xbox. I can remember Xbox One had a really significant memory leak where it had trouble like closing out applications and things like that. So, again, this is stuff that Microsoft really should have a better handle on, and it really just seems like they aren't on the ball enough with this type of thing. So, I do hope that they kind of get these things worked out, because it's the fans who pay. Like, Microsoft doesn't seem to really care about, the Xbox console anymore in terms of, hey, let's try to give people a great platform that can realistically blow people away and get games day and date and all that kind of stuff. They don't do a good job of that. They really kind of let people hang and let developers, do whatever they want. And basically what developers want is to make money. And how do you make money? Well, you make money by selling your games on a platform that has, going on 70 million units instead of the one that's going on 25 million units. And, there's new reports saying that PS5 is outselling Xbox by a 5-to-1 margin lately. And that's really, really negative thing for Microsoft. Microsoft has to do better. I get it. You can play an Xbox game on your refrigerator, but most people won't, right? People like to play on their consoles or their PCs or whatever. And when it comes to mobile stuff, yeah, they'll play on their phones, and phone games are popular. But you know what phone games are popular? Free ones that people play 15 minutes in a dentist office waiting to be seen, or a doctor's office waiting to be seen. People are going to play through the latest Gears of War, and on a phone through the cloud. It's not a good way to really play a game, and people are really kind of understanding how this happens. So again, I'm looking at all these different type of announcements that come out and things like that, and we see that Microsoft is having these issues, but again, these are just really negative kind of things that Microsoft tends to find themselves in lately, and it's a real shame, because I feel like Microsoft could be doing so much better if they actually just try to appease the console itself, right? Instead, all they ever do is, have this kind of negative outlook on things, and people are kind of we see less and less of that. Like the Xbox community that I knew is long gone. There's nothing there in terms of being able to kind of see, okay, well, we have, this great outlook on things. Like, people are being positive. People are, the community's kind of coming together. Let's have the us against the world mentality. That stuff is all very much gone. Microsoft could be in such a better place right now if they just really bothered to compete. Like Sony hasn't really had much this year. They just released this Concord game, absolute disaster. I called that, people think I'm a PlayStation fanboy because I'm hard on Microsoft. No, I'm an Xbox fan, and I'm hard on Microsoft because they make it so easy to be hard on Microsoft, right? You had a year where this should have been your year. Last year should have been your year. Every year should have been your year, because Sony has really dropped the ball this generation. And, there's no real excuse for that. And Sony has gone after, Sony's biggest guns aren't loaded with any bullets. So Microsoft could realistically, with everything that they're doing, do whatever they want and get momentum and sell consoles and all this kind of stuff. And the fact that they're not is really a shame on their leadership, a shame on their current management. And, their brand is suffering every single day. It's like, here's the thing. Most people would be fine with this. And this is just me being 100% honest. So, but you want to go, Bethesda games are case-by-case basis. If they're going to be exclusive, okay, be honest about it. All Activision games are multi-plat, okay. But all Xbox Game Studio stuff should be exclusive to Xbox and, where Game Pass is, right? The Forzas, the Fables, the Gears, the Halos, Perfect Dark, all the stuff that you have that's from that should have remained and should remain exclusive to Xbox consoles, I just want to say that's just something that I am so ashamed of from Microsoft, right? I just really find it sort of impossible that we've gotten this far. They're a $2 trillion company, and this is the type of stuff that they're kind of putting out there. They can do better. We can all do better. And, I think Microsoft can definitely see, that people aren't going to just sit back and take this. How can you even bother? To me, it's an oxymoron. We're going to have a console, but we're not going to be clear on what games are coming or what games are going. And, that's really just confusing to people. And how, them confusing people is a really, really shitty thing to do. And I hope that they get out of that. You know, they need to change that. The brand is dying. That's not going to be good for anyone. If you're a PlayStation fan and you're like, yeah, Xbox is dying, believe me, you don't want that. You don't want Sony to not have any competition in that console space. And as it looks, they're not going to have any. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Rack 'em up. Crab Gamer out.